live at Metuchen High School. The basketball season for 2021-22 about to get underway tonight. And it's Metuchen girls basketball squaring off with Spotswood today in an exciting game as the girls looking to respond after a solid season went 10-5, 6-4 in Blue Division play. Only lost one senior, and they're coming back resilient for this full season. A Spotswood team that went 6-9, 5-7 in the Blue Division, good for fifth place. Both these teams dropped their pod championship games last year, and now they're getting set to go. So Eddie Kalegi here. I'm excited to be back tonight here at Metuchen High School. We got one of the up-and-coming broadcasters here at MHS, Ike Busch, alongside. And Ike, really exciting to have basketball back, have some fans here as well, and ready to go for what should be an exciting season in Metuchen girls basketball.
Well, yeah, I mean, fans back in the stands, you know, for the first time in about 2 years. It's an awesome sight to see fans back in the stands watching their beloved Bulldogs play. And it's the opening game of the season. The girls hosting the Spotswood Chargers, as you just mentioned. Metuchen had a solid year last year, going 10-5. And, you know, they were led, of course, by Molly Maleg, who is still here as a senior now and looking to shred it up as the leading force on the Bulldogs team. She actually just got into Harvard University, which is very impressive. First student from Metuchen to get into Harvard. So that's really impressive. Also, she's not just a great student, an awesome athlete, and she should be tearing it up. So I'm going to keep an eye out on Molly Maleg and also the center, Sarah Knoll, for tonight's game. It's going to be a fun one. The Spotswood Chargers, after a not-so-successful season last year, looking to get back on the right foot, start off the season with a win.
Yeah, and we're excited to be streaming again. Looks like we have some nice transitions in there, too, this year. But you mentioned it. Molly Maleg, 14 points a game, 7 rebounds a game last season. And historically, she is getting up there. And you look at the career points. She got to 1,000 points last season, and right now slates in 9th heading into her senior season. Very impressive through 3 seasons, especially with the junior year that was shortened a bit because of the COVID pandemic. And it's interesting to look at that right now at 1080 career points. Ike, how far up that list do you think she could get here before the end of the season?
I mean, it's really hard to place a limit on it, but you're looking at numbers. I mean, if you look over on the right column, you're seeing, for instance, Marie Watson, 1989, class of 1989, Tanya Wood, 1986, crazy. So the amount of years we've had in between these big names is unbelievable. And now the class of 2022, Molly Maleg, I'm interested to see how much she can go up the list. I think she can move up a few spots, maybe all the way up to the 3 or 4 spot if it goes completely on track. It's going to be a tough thing to do to get really high on this list, especially because some of these names are really big but Molly Maleg, really, I mean, the sky's the limit for her, and I'm really excited to see what she could do here in her senior year.
Yeah, those numbers with Cassie Smith, 2052, that's going to be a little tough to reach. But looking at it numerically, you see Jenna Euler, Val Gazda, Mary Watson, maybe even getting up there near Tanya Woods around 3rd or 4th. So really, like Ike said, it's limitless with Molly Maleg, and we saw what she did last season. And now this year, she takes on an even more prominent role, Ike, in scoring, because it was kind of split between her and Chase Clavon. Clavon actually was the leading scorer at 14.4 points per game last season, with Molly just behind. And now with Clavon graduating, it seems like Molly's going to have an even bigger role on this team.
I mean, now she's the senior, right? And she's the big name. She's the attraction on this team. And now she has all the eyes on her, and playing the guard position, she's got a tough responsibility, but something that she could definitely fulfill. Molly Maleg definitely has caught my eye for tonight.
And Molly Maleg, also one more thing with her, along with Carly Pachalski, they're the 2 team captains for this season as well. 2 seniors who have been a part of this program and been a part of the varsity level for the last 3 years, have shown a lot of leadership, and now getting gifted such a great opportunity to get to lead these girls and really be role models for some of these younger players.
Absolutely. Carly Pachalski, also an awesome player, senior as well, number 20. Keep an eye on Carly Pachalski for tonight, a good shooter. She's the forward. So 2 big names leading their team at the captain responsibility for tonight. Carly Pachalski and Molly Maleg are your leaders for the Metuchen Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely. So This Bulldogs team, they've played well recently against Spotswood. They've won 3 of the last 4 contests. They swept them last season, including a decisive 27-point victory, 60-33, on February 24th last year, where they outscored the Chargers 17-4 in the second quarter and had a 20-point effort from Molly Maleg. So one thing to mention with this team is injuries, and one of their top players, Charlotte Breen, who was so important on this team, 5.6 points per game, an assist and a half per game last season, really came out of her shell for an impressive sophomore season. She's going to be out tonight, so how does this team adjust not having, who was in many ways one of their key guards and a lot of times the facilitator as the point guard out there, not having her tonight as they start this season off?
I mean, that's always a tough responsibility, having to, fill in for a key player, not just a player, a key player, one of your best players from last year. She was just a sophomore. Now she's in her junior year, and she's missing her first few games at the varsity level. It's going to be a tough thing to fill it, to try to have to fill in her role. Not just missing her, though. The Metuchen Bulldogs also missing Cassidy Connors. It's not going to be easy, but they're going to have to try to fill in those spots. They've got plenty of depth. They definitely can do it, and when she's back, it's going to be great.
Yeah, Cassidy Connors, Charlotte Breen, Orly Germain, all banged up. That is 3 really significant players, 3 who I think a couple of times were even in the starting lineup last year. So it's going to be about the depth, and I think also key is going to be who's coming up from JV. Leslie Flaherty, Sam Pfeiffer, Mia Zapp, all had a little sprinkling of varsity action last season, but now getting their first full runs with the varsity team and played really well in JV last year. So what are you looking for from those 3 as they step into a bigger stage this season?
I mean, yeah, right. They just barely got into a few games in varsity level last year, but they were the big names in the JV level. Mia Zapp, Leslie Flaherty, and Sam Pfeiffer were your big names from last year's team, JV team, but they could definitely take assertive and take an assertive action and just become one of those big names on the team as well, because Sam Pfeiffer, for instance, is starting. Last year, she was a JV player, got in a little bit in varsity, scored a basket, but now she's your sophomore starting as a guard, and she's number 12. Expect to see Sam Pfeiffer in the lineup tonight. I'm really excited to see how she does.
So let's shift gears. We got about a minute and a half before we start, so let's just talk a little Spotswood. I mean, they were 6-9 last year, but they, like Metuchen, only losing one senior from their roster last year. That was Julia Masucci. They're really going to be led by a couple of seniors on this roster, especially Allison Clark and Gianna Perez.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Spotswood had lost just one senior last year, so they're not missing much. And neither is Metuchen, really. They're not missing, their seniors as much, but, the Spotswood Chargers have roles to fill. They still have to try to get above 500. 6-9 last year. We're looking for those big names to lead them the way. So the Spotswood Chargers looking to go back over 500. They'll start their season off on the road against Metuchen tonight.
So a slightly depleted Metuchen team still going to be energized here tonight as they get ready to go on opening night against the GMC Blue Division rival, the Spotswood Chargers. The anthem and the starting lineups coming up momentarily. Eddie Kalegi with Ike Busch. Stay with us. Tip-off in about 5 minutes here on the Bulldog Report. All right, so the teams are in the huddle, and we're just about set and ready to go for some action. If you didn't hear the starting lineups, first for Spotswood, coached by Vincent Veazey. Lizzie Calandruccio, the freshman, is out there with senior Curdy Craig, Allison Clark, Gianna Elkers, and Gianna Perez. So 4 seniors there with the 1 freshman. In the huddle, Coach Kathy Glutz in her 5th season with the Metuchen Bulldogs, coaching this Metuchen girls basketball team. Their lineup, like we said, no Jermaine, no Connors, no Breen. All of them had some pretty extensive minutes last season. Jermaine, 6 points, 5 rebounds a game, 6 points a game for Breen, 4 for Connors. They're all out. They're starting 5. You've got a freshman in Caitlin Connors getting some playing time. How about this? A freshman, her first game going right from not even playing JV. But you know what? Redheaded players, gingers, there's a lot of history there with Chase Clavon and Molly Maleg with this girls team, so maybe she'll continue that. You've also got a new player in Sam Pfeiffer out there, Carly Pachalski, Sarah Knoll, and of course number 5, Molly Maleg. Metuchen will be going left to right as they get set for the opening jump here to begin the 2021-22 season. A regular season right now. It looks like the GMC tournament will be coming back in February instead of the pods like last season. And it'll be back to regular action. What can the Bulldogs do? A senior-heavy roster ready to go and jumping right into the thick of it against a GMC Blue Division opponent. Metuchen in white, Spotswood in black. Clark and Pachalski on the jump. It's batted right to Spotswood, and we're underway. And quickly shooting, first one is in for Gianna Perez, and a quick 2-0 lead for Spotswood. Molly Maleg, pressure comes from the defense. She'll cut it across the timeline. Defense comes, Maleg trying to get across. Quick pass, Pfeiffer, nearly taken away, and it is taken away by Calandruccio. But Knoll's going to get it back from Metuchen. Sarah Knoll has it by the Bulldog logo, feeds to her right from a leg, but it looks like a turnover. Go out of bounds, and it'll be Spotswood ball, who will inbound from the near side. Apologies if it's a little cut off by our camera angles, but coming up the floor nonetheless are the Chargers. It's Calandruccio. Metuchen bringing a defense. They'll get it across the timeline, stripped away, save, double team. Spotswood hanging on, a drive in, now kicked out. Perez tries a 3, and it's in. Gianna Perez with 5 quick points in the first 40 seconds, and a 5-0 Spotswood lead.
You've got Gianna Perez taking 2 shots and banking both of them. That's 5 points on 2 shots. Awesome start to their game. Spotswood in a nice lead to get the game going.
Only 7 points a game last season for Perez. She already has 5 here. Metuchen needing a score, and Carly Pachalski turns it over with a travel. Turnovers were a big problem for Metuchen's bigs last season, specifically Pachalski and Knoll, and having an extended role, especially with Orly Germain out, it's going to be important. Now a press from Metuchen, passing it ahead. Sarah Knoll stayed back, though. Defense from Pfeiffer on the far side, tied up, getting it free. Now quick pass, a deep 3, and that one's going to be off the left of the rim from Gianna Elkers. Chasing after it is Clark to get the rebound. The putback, no good off the front of the rim, and it's taken back. This is Caitlin Connors' first touch as a Bulldog.
Well, there's Caitlin Connors, the freshman, already driving and making a splash.
Nice
as
pass.
a freshman.
Nice pass on the baseline. Sarah Knoll can't finish it, though. Allison Clark the rebound, and a chase to the near side. Spotswood keeps it in bounds. Heading across, charging ahead. Elkers tries to bank it up, no good. Second chance, passing it right was Curdy Craig, and they'll set up a play now in the backcourt with Calandruccio.
I really think I like the pace of this Spotswood offense a lot more than Metuchen as it's laid in. There's 2 more for Spotswood, and that was Clark, a timeout call. But I really, as I was saying, I really like Spotswood's offensive style, the way they're running it around, slowing down the defense that just does not seem like they could keep up with the Chargers right now. And they're getting those chances on the outside, and then as soon as they draw the defenders up, they're able to drive and get those points in, as we saw in the last play. So I'm really liking the style of that offense. Metuchen definitely needs to slow down their pace and, start to relax a little bit more and just play their game the best they can.
Yes, so 7 quick points for Spotswood. And you said it, Metuchen's really got to try to relax. I mean, this is the home opener, and I know this team is without 3 key players, 2 who were in the starting lineup last season, but this is not really expected for the Bulldogs to come out this slow, and I know it's an adjustment for the 2 right there, Pfeiffer and Connors, both new to this varsity team, but the Bulldogs looking very lax through these first 2 minutes. Trying to get on the board. Connors knocked around near the out-of-bounds near side. It's going to stay with the Bulldogs, though, and Connors will inbound.
Cassidy Connors just got her first touches a few moments ago. Here she is, the freshman. A pass.
Caitlin Connors, that was. Pachalski, Maleg inside, tries to put it up, no good, and it's going to go out of bounds off of Maleg. I thought that was off of Clark for a second, but it's going to be Spotswood possession here. 7-0 your score, 5:45 remaining in the first quarter. Coming across the timeline, trying to get there. A bit of an awkward pass. Gianna Perez with 5 points already secures it, but her pass is taken away. A steal by Pfeiffer, and now Molly Maleg will control. Maleg hasn't done much through these first 2.5 minutes. She has it now, guarded by Craig. Maleg, nice little pump fake, passes to Pachalski. Pachalski backs in on Perez, drives in, and she's hit from behind, and they're going to call a foul against Gianna Perez. The first foul against either side here.
Well, there's the first foul. Now she's going to get 2 shots. Definitely a reliable shooter. That's Carly Pachalski. We'll see if she can knock at least one through and try to slim the margin that they're down 7 right now. If they could cut into this lead a little bit more and start to drip away at this lead, then they'll be a lot more successful.
Pachalski off on the first free throw, and that's something that really has to be focused on. We saw both the boys and girls teams last season struggle from the charity stripe, and free throws are going to be key because you know fouls are going to come, and when you get to that line, you got to be sure to make at least one. Pachalski does make one, so the captain with the first point of the season for the Dogs. 7-1, 5:22 remaining here in the first quarter. Quick pass, Metuchen again with a press. It goes to the far side, and an awkward pass out of bounds from Calendruccio looking for Elkers. It's going to go out of play, Metuchen possession. So back-to-back turnovers forced here by the Bulldog defense, and now it's Caitlin Connors bringing it up the court. She takes it across the midcourt line, dribbling with the right hand, guarded by Elkers. Man-on-man defense here. Pachalski, Maleg comes around the swing, drives in from the elbow, lays it up the glass, no good. Pachalski coming in strong for the rebound, gets tied up with Allison Clark. The possession arrow was pointed Metuchen's way. It's a jump ball. Bulldog inbound from underneath.
Caitlin Connors inbounding it, pass to Molly Maleg.
It's taken away right there by Curdy Craig. Coming up the floor. Inside, splits the double team, throws it up, awkward layup, no good. Sarah Knoll the rebound. Molly Maleg coming up the court, has it on the right side. 7-1 is your score. Bulldogs down 6 early, just 3 minutes gone. Sam Pfeiffer with it. Pfeiffer crosses over to her left, drives in, and she's going to be hit, and it's going to be another foul against Spotswood here. And the Bulldogs will get set for another inbound. It'll be Sam Pfeiffer throwing it in. So just 3 minutes on the clock. Metuchen's still looking for their first field goal. Only point coming on a free throw from captain Carly Pachalski as Connors will set. Trying to get it in. Lollipops went over to Pfeiffer, who secures it with the right hand. Nice screen set by Maleg. She backs in from the right wing. Now Pachalski with defense puts it up and gets it to fall. Carly Pachalski with 3 points. First basket for Metuchen.
Well, she just shot it right over the defender and just laid it right in. Awesome controlled shot, and now it's 7-3.
Now Allison Clark pass, Calendruccio handles it, and now Curdy Craig will set it up at the Bulldog. Swings to the left corner, driving in, pump fake Elkers, drives. It looks like a foul is going to be called. Let's see if it came on the shot. And it did, and that will send Gianna Elkers to the line. Elkers, a senior, averaged just a tick under 7 points and just over 3 boards per game last season, and she heads to the stripe here. Bent the legs, but couldn't get the first one to fall. Some substitutions. Katie Gray, another one of those important players from the JV team last season, along with Mia Zapp, who kind of split her time with the two rosters in the 2020-21 campaign. They both check into the game as the Bulldogs make their first substitutions. Like we said, going with a small bench with no Connors, Breen, or Germain. Both free throws are missed there by Elkers, so the two teams have combined 1 of 4 from the line so far, as Molly Maleg brings it up. About to hit the halfway point here of the opening quarter. Here comes Connors, driving in, flicks out Pachalski. She's got all 3 Bulldog points so far. Mia Zapp, screen set Maleg. Zapp trying to go around the edge. Connors with a good eye not to touch it. Goes out of bounds off of Calendruccio, and Metuchen will inbound. 3:53 remaining here in the first quarter. Looking to pass it in. Finds Pachalski. Pachalski drives in, leads with the right shoulder. Pivots, looks for space. Nice defense from Perez. Now Connors swamped in the right corner, drives in towards the elbow. Nice defense once again from the Chargers. Katie Gray, pump fakes on a 3, moves towards the paint, finds Pachalski. Pachalski makes a post move. Maleg lines up a 3, too strong off the back iron. Rebound by Elkers, and Spotswood will take it back the other way. Here comes Elkers with it. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Feeds it to her right, flicks to the right corner. Deep three-pointer, way too strong from Curdy Craig. That will go out of bounds, and that'll be Metuchen ball. And it seems like Spotswood's offense has kind of spiraled out of control these last couple of minutes.
I mean, definitely, they scored their 7 points really early on, and they looked really hot out of the gate, and they've kind of slowed down a little bit. It looks like Metuchen's defense is starting to catch on to what Spotswood isn't doing very well.
Katie Gray drives in, gets some space, lays it up, and is fouled, and she'll get a chance at the line. That's a foul against Allison Clark. That may be her second, definitely at least one against Clark. And that's the third team foul against Spotswood here in these first 5 minutes of action. And Katie Gray will head to the line. Gray is a junior, number 25, and she knocks down the first free throw for her first points of the season. And Metuchen, after being down 7, has cut it to a 3-point game. And for some rebounding help, they'll wisely move Maleg up for the second free throw if this is a miss. She's not going to get the rebound, but Carly Pachalski does off the miss. And now a tie-up, but the possession arrow is pointed Spotswood's way. So Chargers ball, 3:06 remaining in the first quarter, and Spotswood will inbound.
Here's that Spotswood offense struggling in their past few drives. I mean, earlier we could see how well they could shoot. We'll see if they do it again.
Looks like a foul there as Allison Clark tried to throw one up, and she got hit. We'll see who the call is on. Might be against Connors. Not 100% sure. I think it actually might have been against Katie Gray. But that will send Allison Clark to the line, and Ike Clark is really the fundamental piece of this offense.
Absolutely. 12 points per game is just something that is just so remarkable, considering most people on the team average, around 5, 6. To get 12 points per game and 9 rebounds per game is so impressive. That is definitely Metuchen's top priority to lock up from the defensive standpoint. I mean, it's going to be a tough thing to do to shut her down as she makes both foul throws.
Yeah, both free throws good. 9-4 is your score right now. Mia Zapp drives in, throws it up. No good, no call. Looked like they were looking for one, but now Spotswood on the hustle the other way. Charging into the paint, the layup. What a coast-to-coast drive right there by Curdy Craig, and it's back up to a 7-point lead for the Chargers. 11-4 with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Caitlin Connors has it, guarded by Elkers. Gray trying to hang on. It's going to stay with Connors. Connors guarded by Elkers, moves towards the left corner, dribbles it off her knee, out of bounds. Spotswood ball. And another turnover here for the Bulldogs, as it looks like a substitution, as Callan Druscio will head to the bench, and Ava Hellerich, number 21, will check in for the first time for Spotswood. So back and forth with Craig and Perez. They'll try to work it up. Curdy Craig passes to her left. Double team from Metuchen. Carly Pachalski goes for the steal, snatches it ahead, tries to save it, somehow keeps it in bounds for now, but now they're going to blow it dead. That was great hustle by Pachalski, but I think her heel touched the line just in front of the Spotswood bench, and unfortunately, it'll be Spotswood ball.
Awesome hustle there by Pachalski. Unfortunately for her, could not land the feet completely in the court. It was out of bounds at a stoppage of play. Now they're back in action.
And a steal by Metuchen. Molly Maleg has it. Looking for her first points. Katie Gray drives in. Gray kicks it out. Mia Zapp. Zapp thought about the 3, decides better. If it now leads in with the left shoulder, and a foul's going to be called. That's the 4th on Spotswood. A little confusion there, but it looks like that one was away from the shot, so it'll be an inbound for the Bulldogs from the baseline as Sarah Knoll will check back into the game. Pachalski takes a seat. Metuchen really going with 3 bigs, those being Pachalski, Knoll, and Gray, and cycling them around without Orly Germain out there. Of course, that kind of throws a wrench into their plans. Maleg, shot's going to be waved off, and that was a pretty obvious travel. She leaned in with the shoulder and took about 3 steps before she shot it, but Molly Maleg so far being held silent. Ike talked about how important it was for Metuchen to guard Clark, but it's equally important for Spotswood to shut down Maleg. They're doing that so far, and it's a 7-point lead right now. As inside, Hellerich puts it up, no good off the glass. Fight for the rebound with Sarah Knoll. Hellerich hits the deck. Nice pass, finds Gianna Perez. She can't line that one up Well, Elker's third chance, no foul called. She thinks she got hit, but it's going to be out of bounds. And a nice stand there by the Bulldog defense.
Bulldog defense looking really good lately. I mean, they let those points in earlier, but since then, most of the points have come from foul shots right now. So, I mean, really, as a defensive unit, they're looking really good.
Katie Gray finds Knoll. Knoll backs in. Knoll's shot is no good. Rebound Molly Maleg. Maleg's shot is no good. So 2 chances for the Bulldogs. They stay silent, and this offense continues to struggle. Now the defense trying to respond. But a charge down the floor. Elkers can't hit. Nice rebound by Caitlin Connors, who stood strong inside. The freshman looking very experienced there to not draw any sort of foul. And Sarah Knoll, awkward pass. It's going to go out of bounds off of Clark, and it'll be Bulldog possession from the far sideline over to the left.
Under a minute to go in the first quarter. We got a pretty even game despite the score. I mean, it's been pretty silent by both offenses. The defenses have both looked pretty good ever since the start of the game.
Yeah, that pass is a little wild, and that's the problem for Metuchen. Very sloppy with the ball so far, and what really hurts them, like you said, aside from the first minute of this game when Spotswood put up 7, it's been 4 points apiece, and it's been a defensive battle. So Metuchen has adjusted from those first couple minutes. The question is, can they cut into that 7-point gap? As a quick pass there, it's Hellerich and make it a 9-point gap. As a nice feed from Perez, and Ava Hellerich has her first points of the game to make it a 13-4 score. 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Zap, nice bounce pass inside for Katie Gray. No look, finds Sarah Knoll. No good. Off the back iron. A tie-up for the ball. Somehow Gray hangs on, grabs it, and Metuchen had the possession arrow. What incredible hustle there by Katie Gray on what looked like a lost play, and the Bulldogs get another chance.
Here they are now, 24 seconds left. I don't think you panic here. I think you just make sure you have enough time for your shot, but don't panic too much.
And they made a bit of a bad pass there. Bad decision looking for Sarah Knoll, taken away by Hellerich, and now Spotswood can hold for a final shot. So 12 seconds. Dribbling between her legs was Elkers. 8 seconds now. Curdy Craig will hold. 1-on-1. Craig versus Connors. 5 seconds. Screen set. Craig drives in. Lays it up. No good. Too strong. Maleg the rebound. Won't get a shot off. And the first quarter is in the books with Spotswood taking a commanding 13-4 lead here against the Bulldogs. A bit surprising. We knew Metuchen was going to struggle with all the injuries. But really that first minute of the game, Metuchen just let Spotswood get open shots. They converted on 3 of them. Took an early 7-point lead. And they just haven't been able to get back.
Absolutely, and you're combining a whole bunch of pieces from different spots, right? You got your seniors that played last year, maybe had a little bit more experience. You've got a freshman, brand new to high school basketball, has never played a JV basketball game in her career. Then you've got 2 JV starters from last year that are now up at the varsity level. This is a very interesting combination of players for Metuchen, and they're getting used to it. I think they'll just get better and better as the season goes on. Even as the game goes on, they've looked a lot better. But to get used to playing as a team, even if you're practicing all week as a unit together, is still not an easy thing to do. Now they're playing their first actual game. They're going to have to get more and more used to each other, and I think they've been doing that since the start of the game. So they're looking a lot better and better. We'll see if they can cut into this 9-point lead that Spotswood currently holds.
So a 9-point advantage right now for the Chargers, and this is a Metuchen team that played one close game in Spotswood, only won by 1 last season, but beat them by 27 in the same gym back in February. So a different tale today. A Metuchen team that put up 60 in that game. Molly Maleg had 20. She has been scoreless, 0 of 2 shooting, but Spotswood is back at it with the ball up 9. Some substitutions. Veda Lever is in for the first time. A pass now. It's Hellerich, drives in on Knoll, throws it up, no good. Nice defense from Pachalski as the pairing came together. It looked like Maleg was expecting a pass from Connors. Caitlin Connors takes it herself. Now passes looking for Sarah Knoll. Knoll's hit from behind, though, by Hellerich. That's the second foul against Ava Hellerich, the 5th of the half against the Chargers. And Metuchen will inbound. Actually, first foul against Hellerich. I thought she had another one in the first quarter, but must have been wrong there. So Connors passes Molly Maleg immediately inside, makes a move, throws it up, no good. Very erratic so far from the senior Maleg. Now back the other way, driving in. Lever leaves it to her right for Perez. Perez spins, finds Craig. Craig passes to the corner. 3-pointer. Calandruccio no good. Knoll tries to bat it to her teammate Pachalski, goes right back out to Perez. She throws it up, and she is fouled by Carly Pachalski. And 2 more free throws coming here for Spotswood, who are currently up 9.
If I'm being honest, Carly Pachalski has looked really, really good. One of the best players on Metuchen so far. She's looked the best. I mean, but she's got to stay out of that foul trouble. She's already had a few fouls, this one as well included. She's got to make sure she stays out of foul trouble because that'll end up costing her later on in the game especially.
Also, since you look at that Bulldog bench, there's a couple JV players there, but really this team is going with a 7-player rotation. It would typically be 10, but they're without Jermaine, they're without Breen, and they're without Connors. So the second free throw went down for Perez. She's got 6 points, 14-4. Metuchen down 10. Connors sets a 3. Too strong. Rebound, Pachalski tied up, battling for it, keeps it alive, finds Sarah Null. Nice find from Pachalski to get to Sarah Null. First bucket for the senior, 14-6 now your score.
Able to get that rebound and find Sarah Null. Awesome job by Pachalski and a great job by the Metuchen offense.
And back the other way, Metuchen fighting for it. Sam Pfeiffer's going to get the rebound on the miss, and now Carly Pachalski's going to lead the charge. Pachalski over to Connors. Connors up the floor. Connors has it. Goes to her right for Sarah Null. Null inside Connors. No good. Off the side of the rim. Rebound by Calandruccio. 6 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the first half. Metuchen trailing 14-6 here in the season opener. Perez, another 3, looking for the dagger. It's good. Gianna Perez again from downtown. Unstoppable. 9 points now for Perez. 17-6. Spotswood up 11. Metuchen trying to come fast the other way. Sarah Null inside. Shot too strong. Gets her own rebound. Second chance for Null. That one's good.
How awesome is that, to be able to get your own rebound and lay it in? Awesome job by Sarah Null. She's been effective so far in the second quarter. Looking good for the Metuchen Bulldogs. 17-8, and again, Perez with an awesome shot. Put the dagger in the Metuchen Bulldogs. They're going to have to recover. Their defense looking strong, as I said earlier, since the start of the game. But, they still have to hold Perez accountable, and they still have to, of course, watch out for Clark.
So a timeout called. Let's look back at this. Look at this nifty pass here. Pachalski is double-teamed. Noel is wide open and finds her. And a great job right there by Pachalski. So 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. It's a 17-8 game. Leading scorers, Gianna Perez has 9 for Spotswood. For Metuchen, it's 4 for Noel, 3 for Pachalski, 1 for Gray. And the shocking thing, Molly Maleg has played the entire game so far, Ike, and she has been held scoreless.
Unbelievable. I mean, she's looked good overall, but it's not easy to always hit those shots, especially in the opener. You've got a little bit of jitters. She's got to live up to some tough reputation now that she's up on the leaderboard, but she'll find her groove at some point soon. She's looked good defensively especially.
And there's a steal knocked away by Pachalski. Maleg finishes it off. Here comes Molly Maleg. She passes to Connors. Bounce pass for Null. Null backs in, loses control of the dribble though. Tied up with Calandruccio. Possession arrow is pointed Metuchen's way, and the Bulldogs will keep the ball and have an inbound. And that was a nice pass by Maleg to set that up. Unfortunately, Connors' pass to Noel was a little too hot, and Noel couldn't hang on to it. Now Connors looking for Noel, instead finds Pachalski on the right side. Metuchen back with their starting 5 on the floor. Noel inside, puts it up. No good. Maleg going for the rebound, has it knocked away from in front of her by Veda Lever. And it'll stay with Spotswood. And now Cody Craig across the midcourt line. Here comes Craig up the middle. Feeds left. Lever to the corner. Allison Clark lines one up. Delivers no good. Off the left side of the rim. Sarah Null corrals the miss. Here comes Connors with it. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the opening half. She's going to dribble back all the way out of our camera shot. She's got it now. Between the circles. Guarded by Calandruccio, screen set by Pfeiffer. Nice space, Connors to the hoop, and good. Caitlin Connors with her first points as a Metuchen Bulldog, and that was a nice setup there by Pfeiffer.
Look at that poise, though, she had. The patience to be able to go on the outside and find the hoop. That was awesome, and very physical play there by Caitlin Connors.
Allison Clark trying to make the pass, trying to make the shot, in fact. She misses, goes out of bounds off of Maleg, and it will be Spotswood ball. And another substitution, Gianna Perez, who had sat momentarily, will check back in for fellow senior Veda Lever. Both these teams have a lot of seniors, Spotswood especially, who had a junior-heavy roster last season. Perez, a 3, clanks off the right side of the rim, rebound by Sarah Null. Now Connors finds Molly Maleg. Maleg bringing it up, guarded by Craig. She'll dribble to her left, now crosses back to her right. Molly Maleg passes out. Sarah Null Thinks about the three, decides better of it, not really her range, and she's going to leave it behind her for Maleg. Maleg, a deep three, no good off the front of the rim. Bit of a chuck there, a bit of a force. Curdy Craig the rebound. Craig coming back. Numbers for Spotswood. It'll slow down, though, with Elkers. Clark, mid-range, no good off the front of the rim. Rebound Connors, who's been very aggressive on the defense. Here comes Caitlin Connors. She stops. She pops. Can't drop it, though. Rebound by, looked like Perez. Pace very fast right now, and a foul on the attempted shot. That will send, actually, the freshman Lizzie Calandruccio to the line. And Ike, how impressive is it that Calandruccio for Spotswood and then Caitlin Connors for Metuchen never played at the varsity level before? They're freshmen, first games, and they're looking really poised against juniors and seniors.
Absolutely, and I just mentioned Caitlin Connors' poise earlier. I mean, just the fact that they're able to compete at this level at their age is so impressive, and it just shows how good of a player they are, because there's a whole bench full of seniors and juniors, I'm sure, and they got the start, and they're playing very well so far.
And especially as both miss for Calandruccio, Elkers actually batted that into the face of Clark, and Spotswood has possession. Metuchen really, they kind of forced Connors into the rotation with no Charlotte Breen. She becomes the starting point guard as Calandruccio tries a three, doesn't get the right bounce, rebound by Connors, and Caitlin Connors has done well with this opportunity so far. She sets up the play again, running the floor. The agile guard finds Carly Pachalski in the deep left corner. Now Mia Zapp. Mia Zapp looking for space. Finds Maleg. Maleg spins. Backs off. Now dribbles between her legs. Guarded tightly. Maleg finds Zapp. Zapp in. Loses the ball. Out of bounds. And they're going to say last touch by Zapp. And it's going to be Spotswood possession. Actually, no. It's going to be Metuchen ball. A lot of confusion about whose ball it is. I think the two refs called two different things right there. Spotswood players are like, you indicated that it was our ball. And now the two refs are going to come together. It was originally signaled to be Spotswood ball, which I thought was the wrong call. I thought that wall ball was off of Curdy Craig. And I think that's exactly what the female official is telling the man with the ball right now. And it's going to be Metuchen ball. They have decided. So Caitlin Connors will inbound with 3:23 remaining in the first half. Finds Molly Maleg. Maleg still looking for her first points. Dribbles behind the back. Drives in. Has space. Flicks it up. She got fouled, though. And Molly Maleg, the best free throw shooter on this team, will head to the line as foul number 6 here against Spotswood. One away from putting the Bulldogs in the bonus.
She doesn't have to do that much statistically to make an effect on this team. I mean, she's just a big force for the defensive Spotswood team to have to account for. They're going to have to potentially double her up or account for her three-point and driving ability. It's not an easy thing to do to play against Molly Maleg.
Molly Maleg misses the first free throw. Second one also misses. She is just really out of sync in this first half. Going to need a reset in the locker room at halftime. Calandruccio and a pass for Clark, but Clark traveled trying to secure that ball. Metuchen possession. Bulldogs have done a good job slowing things down after going down 7-0, but it's stayed pretty stable at between about a 5 and 10 point game. They haven't really been able to make a dent into that Spotswood lead, but they're not letting it grow, which is key. And it's been tough for this Bulldog team, especially with so many injuries, so many new players at the varsity level getting significant minutes, that the established players like Maleg and Pachalski and Knoll are really having to, adjust to these new players, and a miscommunication there as Connor's looking for Maleg. Back the other way, driving in, Calandruccio bangs in and off the box and in. The freshman with her first points, 19-10 is your score. Bulldogs wasting no time coming back the other way. It's Molly Maleg with it, guarded in the corner. Now she drives in, into the paint. Triple teamed, leaves it off Pachalski. Pachalski airmails the inside layup, left it way too short, tied up with Hellerich, and the jump ball signals for Spotswood, and the Chargers will take possession. And really disappointing there for Pachalski, because she had a wide open hoop and she just completely airmailed it.
Absolutely. I think she kind of short-armed it. Maybe she made some contact or something went wrong in that shot. She's just got to refresh for her next chance.
Spotswood possession, kicking it out. Hellerich given a lot of space to shoot and fire away, and she got it from the corner. Just shy of a 3. It's a 2 for Hellerich, 21-10, and suddenly the Bulldogs are back down 11, tied for their biggest deficit of the day. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the opening half. Metuchen would love to cut it to single digits before the break. Wouldn't want to go down as double-digit dogs into the second half. And that one is knocked away. Katie Gray loses it, and just a bad foul right there by Pachalski as Allison Clark was trying to clear it away. And it'll be Spotswood possession, foul number 5 against Metuchen. And it's just been a very sloppy first half, but it's, like we said, this team is without 3 of probably their 6 best players, so they're really depleted right now. As Calendrugio lines up a 3, that one is way off to the left. Hellerich somehow keeps it alive, finds Elkers. It's going to go out of bounds. No foul, and it's going to be, looks like Spotswood ball, and now the ref can't even handle it. And it's going to stay with the Chargers, and they'll throw it in from the baseline. $1:40 to go in the first half. Deep pass. Elkers sidesteps, drives to her right, finds Clark. Clark the jumper, mid-range, it's good. Allison Clark now with 6 points, and Spotswood is opening this up. Metuchen had cut it to 7. It's now a 13-point game with under 90 seconds left in the first half, and Coach Glutz wisely wants to talk things over so this doesn't get any more out of control before the first half comes to an end. And what was looking like a decent half for Metuchen aside from the first minute has started to spiral, and it's not going particularly well on either side of the ball, Ike.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, it's been a defensive breakdown this quarter, and it was something that they were doing very well, playing good defense in the first quarter, very good defense in the first quarter, especially towards the end, and entering the second quarter as well. I mean, they played some shutdown defense and also were able to get some points. But I think the problem with this Metuchen team so far has been that they haven't been able to connect the dots. They are either really good on defense or really good on offense. It hasn't been both at the same time, at least yet. If they could execute both at a high level at the same time, then they're going to start cutting into the lead. But for now, they're down 13, more than double their score to go. It's going to be a tough thing to come back. They're definitely going to have to get some baskets here.
1:29 remaining. Katie Gray finds Maleg. Maleg takes it across the timeline. Guarded by Elker, screen set by Zapp. Maleg, Zapp, Pachalski, Gray, and Connors, the 5 on the floor for the Dogs. Calendrugio, Hellerich, Clark, Elkers, and Perez for Spotswood. There's Connors driving in. She'll lay it up and in. Nice finish by Caitlin Connors. It's going to be interesting to see what she can do as a freshman, highly touted coming here to the Bulldogs. Chase Clavon's gone. They need another scorer. Maybe she can do that. Now it's taken away. Now here comes Molly Maleg with it. Maleg drives inside, finds Connors. Connors a 3, too strong. That would have been very exciting, and the gym really would have gone to pandemonium if she had hit that open 3, but unfortunately she could not. Spotswood possession, final minute of play here in quarter number 2. Up 23-12, a Chargers bunch that has to be very confident. Now with several veterans on this team who have been part of this program for quite a long while. As this one is picked off by Metuchen. Back the other way, inside, Zapp finds the feed and rolls it home. Finger roll Mia Zapp. Her first points, 5th different Bulldog in the scorers column. Metuchen cuts it back to 9.
Look at this defense right now. Connecting the dots, as I said. It's been like Spotswood struggling to get across the half line so far, and now they're going to slow down the pace. That's definitely what they have to do now. It's a single-digit lead, especially late in this quarter.
Hellerich misses, and that's going to hit off the wiring above the backboard, which is out of play. So Metuchen ball. They can hold for a final shot here, which I think they should, even if they don't make it. Down 9 after the spurts of this half that we've seen from Spotswood really isn't all that bad, and maybe Molly Maleg can hit one here and finally get in the scorers column. Final 10 seconds. Maleg, screen set. Molly Maleg from downtown, it's good. Molly Maleg, welcome back. 6-point game, closest it's been since the first 2 minutes. Spotswood can't get it in bounds. Calendrugio won't get a shot off, and the Bulldogs score 7 points in the final 56 seconds of the first half and cut a 13-point deficit to 6 and are very confidently in this game. And most importantly, their all-time scorer, a top 10 all-time, Molly Maleg, finally found her shot, and she's finally back and drains an impressive 3 there.
How impressive is that? Not only to cut into the lead by 3 after the three-pointer there, that wasn't even the most impressive part. I mean, yeah, it was an awesome shot, but now that the fact she's been able now to cut into the lead, but also bring the momentum into the locker room at halftime. Now she's had her first points of the half. She's got over her little slump that she had during the game, and now she could go into the second half along with the rest of the team and say, all right, guys, girls, excuse me, let's win this game. It's only a 6-point game. It's totally manageable now, and the captain definitely was the leading part of that after the 3-point hit with just seconds to go.
And Ike, let's take a look at this shot. I mean, the poise that she had to put this up. Nice crossover to get some space, and you knew it out of the hand that was going down.
Absolutely. I mean, I soon, as it was released, you kind of just anticipated that was going to go in. It splashed. You literally could not have drawn up a better shot. Awesome shot. And now it's just a 6-point lead. Awesome job by Molly Malig.
So we are at the half right now, taking a look at some stats. Spotswood's leading scorer, Gianna Perez, with 9, 6 for Allison Clark, 4 for Hellerich, 2 apiece for Curdy Craig and Lizzie Calandruccio. Metuchen has shared the ball well, 4 points apiece from freshman Caitlin Connors and senior Sarah Knoll, 3 apiece for Maleg and Pachalski, 2 for Zapp, and 1 for Gray. So 23-17 is your score. Before we take a break, Ike, only down 6, definitely some momentum back on their side. What do the Bulldogs have to do coming out of the locker room to start the second half to keep this rolling and really get themselves back in this game?
Well, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems with their defense, especially, we're going to focus on their defense. I think the biggest problem among their defense has been allowing that outside shot. It looks like they're running a little bit of a zone defense, and they're letting those shots from the outside, Perez especially, having those chances to take those shots that you just should not allow to happen. And those, I mean, if you add it up, outside or at least deep 2 range has been a huge part of the Spotswood offense. And if they didn't have those shots, I mean, Metuchen could be winning right now. So they definitely have to clean up the outside and account for the fact that Spotswood's got heck of a shooter in Perez and Clark. I mean, it's going to be a tough thing to do, but they're going to have to find an alternative defensive style to counter that Spotswood attack.
So we'll step aside halftime here from the Brandy Borough. The Bulldogs with a late second quarter surge, trailing by 6, 23-17. Eddie Kalegi with Ike Busch. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Bulldog Report for quarter number 3.
Hey everybody, it's Ike Busch, going to be taking you the rest of the way alongside Eddie Kalegi. So, girls basketball, the Bulldogs leading right now 23-17. Eddie, what do you think Metuchen has done right? What do you think they've done wrong? What could they fix in order to execute well enough to win this game in the second half?
Well, the one thing is that with Jermaine out, Charlotte Breen out, no Cassidy Connors, they're really living and dying by Molly Maleg. And this team was struggling because Maleg was ineffective, had turned over the ball, hadn't made a shot till the final possession of the first half, and now has 3 points. But in a 6-point game, they've done a good job hanging with Spotswood. These new players thrown in. This is, aside from Pachowski, Nolan, Maleg, it's completely different faces here playing. All these other players are from JV or a straight-up true freshman like Connors. So I think they're doing a good job. They have to tighten up the defense a little bit. And Molly Maleg, Carly Pachowski, got to keep hitting some shots. Got to ride the momentum from the end of the second quarter.
Absolutely. Same starters out there for both squads. Metuchen is going to start off with the ball. Here's Caitlin Connors, the freshman, going to start off with the ball. Driving inside. Here's Caitlin Connors with the ball. Pass inside to Sarah Nall, who puts it up. That's just a miss and a foul on the court. And I don't think it actually was on the shot. So that's going to be 2 shots for Carly Pachowski to get the second half going. 14 seconds in, that's Carly Pachowski shooting 2 here. She's 1 for 2 at the line today. Shots up and good. And just like that, they're within 5, which is their slimmest margin of the day. At least counting out the first 2 minutes. They're looking really good now out of the gate. And she knocks down both of them. 3 for 4 from the charity stripe now. 23-19 Chargers. Here comes Spotswood. Dribbling across the middle. This is a pass. I think that was Craig. And a pass out. That's Perez taking the shot. That is no good. Rebounding. A little sloppy down low. But Connors gets the ball. Airmails it towards Molly Maleg, who loses the ball. Stolen and taken up. To the other side, a fast drive and a chance shot, and it's knocked down. That one was a good for 2. It's 25-19.
Really poised there, Calendruccio. Nice pass from Clark on the steal to find her ahead, and Spotswood needed that after 9 unanswered from the Bulldogs.
It's been freshman dominant so far. Caitlin Connors, Calendruccio have been the big names so far today. Here's the shot. Sarah Knowles is off the mark on that chance, and here comes the Chargers again. Pass up. There you go. There's Clark with her shot, and she knocks it down. What a shot that was. Defender just a few inches away. She knocks down the shot. It's now an 8-point margin. 27-19. 6:35 to go. You're watching the Bulldog Report. Here's the dribble. Caitlin Connors along the outside. Can't find anyone. She passes and finds Nall, who's going to put it up and in. 2 more points. Definitely a lot more points this second half so far, Eddie.
Yeah, and Sarah Nall, that was a great job backing down, getting space, and putting it in. Really nice job by Nall.
And that one is an off-balance pass by Clark, and it goes out of bounds. And the 6-point margin is now, could be cut in even more. It's going to be inbounded by Sam Pfeiffer, standing by the ref to get the okay sign. And we're back in action. 6:13 to go. Here are the Bulldogs taking it across half. That's Caitlin Connors. Connors trying to find an open woman. She dribbles and takes one towards the point. Pass outside. She's going to dribble towards the middle. That's Sarah Nall to the outside. Caitlin Connors and Sarah Nall, really the only Bulldogs to touch the ball so far on the offensive side. Or at least it seems that way. They've been kind of controlling so far. Carly Pachowski puts it up and misses another layup. And now we've got a foul. Or not a foul. I think it was a
jump ball.
Jump ball, yeah. So it's going to go in favor of Spotswood. Here come the Spotswood Chargers. Coming up now, the Spotswood Chargers. A pass over and outside to Clark. She airmails it to Perez, who keeps her feet in. Pass inside, and that's Elkers, who's going to take the shot and miss it. Clark tries to keep it in. She does successfully, but it goes right to a Bulldog hand. And here is Metuchen again. Molly Maleg knocked down the 3 to end the first half. What could she do offensively here in the second half? Dribbling through towards the outside. Here come the Bulldogs, and there is a foul on the play, and that one's going to be on Spotswood, so the Bulldogs will inbound it from the side. Eddie, what do you think the Spotswood defense has done this half that's made them so ineffective so far? The Bulldogs have been pretty much walking all over them.
Bulldogs have shown a lot of speed. They've been moving around quickly, as we're seeing Malek drive right now.
And that shot is off the mark as she's fouled, so coming on in, she'll get 2 foul shots to try to cut into that lead a little more. Molly Malek missed both of her foul shots earlier on. Her only 3 points of the day have been from that 3-point shot. And she'll have some redemption shots from the line here. The charity stripe, here are your chances from Malek. The first shot is up, and it's good. Perfect shot from Molly. And now it's just a 5-point lead.
And something I noticed, too, Sam Pfeiffer went over towards the sideline. A man in a blue shirt, I think that's one of the assistants with the JV team, was showing her, giving a little sign about how to set a screen. The second one falls for Malek. We've seen Pfeiffer have a couple of troubles trying to set picks. She kind of ran into Molly earlier. That time kind of stalled an offensive possession. That's going to get better as these players get more reps here at the varsity level.
Absolutely. And that one gets knocked out by Caitlin Connor. She knocked out a pretty solid pass from Clark, and it was intended for Craig. And now it's going to be inbounded by Craig. Pass is out, and it's going to be taken towards the corner. A push by Perez, and they'll start back from the top at half. Another push. Looked a little personal there. A little bit of something going on. Pachalski clapping in her ear. We've got a little bit something between Perez and Carly Pachalski. And now the Bulldogs have the ball. There's a stoppage in play, and each team will come talk to the side. Do you think the Bulldogs have looked better or worse since half? And same question goes with the Spotswood Chargers.
Bulldogs are definitely better than they were for the first 15 minutes of this game. They look just like they did really the 1:30 mark in the second quarter, where Coach Glutz called timeout when they went down 13. Since then, it's been 13-4 in the scoring for the Bulldogs, so they look really good right now. As for Spotswood, they seem a little disjointed. They're not making their shots. They've had a lot of turnovers, and it's getting in their heads, and that was a little cheap from Gianna Perez. We did see Pachalski push back, but I don't really know what the point was for Perez to shove Pachalski in the first place, I guess for positioning, but it was a little hard. I was honestly shocked that they didn't call an offensive foul on the first push. I guess they missed it. That second one obviously led to it because it looked like Pachalski and Perez weren't too happy with each other. But that really shows the aggression is starting to pick up from both these teams. This is a divisional matchup. Often you don't start automatically in divisional play. Usually it's other GMC opponents not in your division. But this is a blue division contest between two teams that are pretty evenly matched and are probably going to be contending for second or third or fourth in the blue division, likely behind Middlesex and some others. But these are two teams, big rivals, and I think we're starting to see that spirit come out here, especially since this has suddenly become a very close game here between Metuchen and Spotswood.
Yeah, absolutely. They each have that circle on the calendar for their Middlesex games. Here's the drive. Sam Pfeiffer lays it up, but not quite in. She's back for the rebound. She doesn't get it, and it's going to be an inbound for the Spotswood Chargers.
And if I could have one critique for this offense, they've got to hit their layups inside better. Spotswood's playing really solid post defense, but Metuchen has had some open looks, and that should have been money for Pfeiffer, and she just couldn't make it.
There's Craig putting up a shot, no good from 3. Elks will pass it out, and another 3 chance. That is Gianna Perez, who knocks it down. 3 more points to add to Spotswood's lead. It's now a 7-point game. Caitlin Connors, the freshman, displayed some great offense and especially defensive ability today for the Metuchen Bulldogs. Driving, pass outside, that's Sam Pfeiffer. She's guarded there by Gianna Perez. A pass inside, Sarah Knoll can't quite hold on to it, but it gets out of bounds, so she's subbed in. She subbed out, excuse me. That's Mia Zapp coming in, as well as Katie Gray, who subs in, and Malek is getting pretty much silenced by this offense, by this defense this half as well. Kind of going off the pace we saw, especially in the first quarter. Not so much the second, but she's not getting the ball too much. They're playing some good defense on her. That's Elks guarding her at the moment. Pass inside. There she is, and I might have just jinxed it as she lays in the layup. perfect positioning and a perfect shot there by Molly Maleg.
Yeah, Molly Maleg up to 7 points now, really starting to look like herself here. She's made 2 of her last 3 shots, and another turnover for Spotswood. They are playing way too erratic right now, and when you have a slim lead, that's not how you should be playing. You should be playing very conservatively, and Spotswood just can't do anything right, and it's a 15-7 run for Metuchen. They've got a chance to cut this to a one-possession game here.
Here's the pass. Gray, who just came off the bench, is going to float this, and it's a little too strong for the outstretched arms of Molly Maleg, and it's going to be inbounded for Spotswood. Pass, that's Elks, who's passing it inside. Clark's pass is unclear. I think it was out of bounds, but okay, Spotswood's got the ball. Sorry, it's a little tough to see. Camera angle's just missing that portion of the court.
I'd surmise that was tipped off a Metuchen player, and it stays with Spotswood. That's what it looked like.
Okay, Spotswood's ball, and they're going to give it away once again. I mean, it's just been a disaster of an offense so far. Aside from that 3, they haven't done much on offense. It's been a little bit tough for them so far to generate points with this Metuchen defense. Do you think it's the Metuchen defense or the Spotswood, the Metuchen defense or the Spotswood offense that's struggling?
I think it's the Spotswood offense right now, because Metuchen's defense has been solid, but it's just the offense can't hit any shots, and like right there, their passes are just too crazy. I mean, that's not how you should be playing it right now. It's not helping them whatsoever, and they're really just hurting themselves. Slow it down, make a few passes, get an open shot, and they're not doing that right now, and it's really hurting them. The Bulldogs have been the better coached team and the better organized team, and that's why they're cutting into this deficit.
And that one's swatted away. Mia Zapp's shot is turned away, and Spotswood ball. Here's the chance, as there's no shot. I think it was a travel, so it's Metuchen Bulldogs basketball from under their hoop. They're going to take it up now. Caitlin Connors inbounding to Mia Zapp. She passes it in. Zapp dribbling up across the middle. That's Pfeiffer on the bench. Sarah Knoll getting a rest as well. Mia Zapp in, checks it to the side. That's Katie Gray, who's going to dribble towards the middle. Spins outside, pass to Caitlin Connors. The whole offense has been generated around Caitlin Connors today. It's been really impressive to see what she's been able to do. Here's the chance now, Molly Maleg from the back middle, where she hit her three-pointer last time. And a little bit of a sloppy play by both offense and defense. It's going to go the other way. Spotswood's going to get the ball. So Metuchen back on defense now. We'll see if Spotswood's offense could finally get something going. I mean, it's been really tough out of the gate. It's looking a lot like Metuchen from the first half. I mean, they started off a little bit too tense, a little too fast. They're not looking too comfortable in their own shoes right now. They have to do that. Especially, they have to get comfortable in their own shoes right now, because late in the game especially, that's when it matters most. They need to execute. As ball goes out of bounds, it's going to stay with Metuchen as they're on the offensive side of things.
Connors looked a little tripped up right there. I think she banged into the scorer's table with her knee, but looks to be okay. Of course, the Bulldogs can't afford any injuries with 3 key players all out with lower body injuries right now.
Yeah, and when I say they have depth, I mean they have depth to build a second line, not necessarily a third line, which is going to potentially have to be made. Here's the drive, and the chance up. Craig's shot is off the mark. A little bit of a scrum down low. It's picked up by Mia Zapp. And here comes that offense again. Metuchen Bulldogs offense a little slower in the last few minutes. Pass to a wide open Katie Gray, who lays it in, and now it's just a one-possession game, Eddie.
That was easy money right there for Katie Gray. The Spotswood defense was confused. Nobody covered her, and I'm surprised Vincent Vigie hasn't called a timeout here. I mean, a 3-point game. Metuchen, it looked like this game was under wraps in the second quarter.
And the shot is off the mark, and here comes Metuchen again. I mean, this is the problem. They're allowing points and then taking quick shots and misses. And there it is again. Carly Pachalski lays it in. It's a 1-point deficit. Timeout called by Vincent Vigie. And now we've got a stoppage in play. What are you telling your players right now if you're Vincent Vigie?
Calm down. Now it's time to get a little erratic, because it's a 1-point game, but still, you have to play controlled basketball. You can't get too cocky. You can't get too out of control and overly confident, and we've seen that. This team was making all their shots in the first quarter. Perez and Clark seemingly could not miss from the field or from the line in that first quarter. But now in the second and especially in the third, they can't do that, and a lot of that is because of these passes. We keep seeing them turning over the ball. I know Metuchen has done that too, but it's been much more prevalent with Spotswood. With the Bulldogs, there's still some concerns. The defense hasn't been great, but the Spotswood defense has been horrible these last few possessions. I mean, 2 straight wide open layups at the basket, first for Gray, then for Pachalski. And now Spotswood really just needs a tone setter. You need the players like Perez and Clark that were doing so well in the first half to do something similar and step up here in a big way.
And just like they left off, ball is gonna get deflected, but they're gonna keep the ball. So definitely catch a break there, as it looked like it was just deflected off of Caitlin Connor's hand, and now they'll get the ball from underneath their own the opposing net. Here's the chance from the corner. Clark's shot is no good. In fact, it didn't touch any part of the net. An air ball, and she won't get up. That's Caitlin Connors who gets the ball, turns it over. Here's Spotswood from the top, the pass out. Here they are, a pass inside. A chance is no good. The layup is even missed. And as they say, when it's going wrong, it's all going wrong. Right now, they can't even, make those layups. It's a little bit of a problem. The timeout hasn't seemed to work yet. They definitely have to adjust to some of these early problems. And as I said earlier, Metuchen has kind of fit in a lot better. They're starting to work as a team now, and it's really impressing me. Here's the chance coming up to the top. Guarded, that's Elks, or excuse me, that's not Elks. That was Gianna. That was Elks. Excuse me. Here's the chance. Molly Maleg dribbling inside, and the layup finger roll is just off the mark, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. We have a 30-29 1-point deficit heading into the last quarter, Eddie. So, we've got a great game on our hands. What has changed within this Metuchen team that's made them progressively get better throughout the game?
Molly Maleg is making her shot. She's got 7 points now. She's also playing better defensively. Carly Pachalski has had that aggression pick up. One of the reasons she's a captain is because she can be a leader. We saw her get a little feisty with Gianna Perez a few minutes ago, and Pachalski's done a great job. I mean, she's scoring some points. She's got 5 for the game. Actually, she's got 7. I forgot to mark one of them down. She's got 7 points, so it's 30-29. I mean, really impressed. But someone we have to mention is Caitlin Connors. She's got 4 points, but she has been such a factor on defense. Shortest player out there, least experienced player out there, yet she's diving out for balls, making great plays, takeaways, a couple of steals, some great passes as a distributor, as a point guard. Really only getting these minutes because Charlotte Breen is hurt, and I gotta say it, she's looking a lot like 3 years ago when another ginger on this very team by the name of Molly Maleg made her debut as a freshman and really was a standout from the beginning. And I don't want to hype anything up too much from the first game, but Caitlin Connors has jumped right in with not even playing a single minute of JV action and jumping in as a freshman, starting at point guard. Really great to see for the Bulldogs. It's going to be interesting to see how she, Maleg, and the rest of this team can play. And if Spotswood, if Allison Clark, who played so well earlier, has 8 points, can maybe respond and get the Chargers on a roll and maybe to a victory.
Here's the chance at drive. That was Mia Zapp's shot to take the lead is no good. Spotswood will get the ball now to kind of start the fourth quarter off after the missed Bulldog shot. From the top, a pass inside. Clark's shot is no good. She's attempted a lot of shots. Clark hasn't made a whole ton of them. I mean, she hasn't been necessarily bad, but she hasn't made all of her shots, and now she's got 2 chances from the line to try to enhance that lead right now. They're only up by 1 in a slim a lead like this. I mean, that could be flipped at any second, so they want to get as many security baskets and points as they can, especially in a tight game like this. When Metuchen, frankly, has the momentum and a home game in their opener, they want these security points, and she misses her first one. The second one is up and good. So now it's a 2-point game. Inbounded, a pass to Caitlin Connors. Here she comes down the middle. She's been pretty much the point guard for the Bulldogs so far. Looking really impressive in her debut. Pass in, and it's deflected down. Maleg could not field it correctly, and it's going the other way. Spotswood with a little bit of momentum now with the ball. They're up by 2. They definitely definitely want to still grow this lead. Elks the pass in. Here's Perez back to Elks. Pass in. Out to Clark, who's going to try to drive and loses the ball in the process. Back pass. It's sent to their own half, and it's going to be a violation, which will give Metuchen the ball with 7:14 to go.
Yeah, Metuchen continuing to capitalize, and it's only a 2-point game, and the Bulldogs are just continuing to hang on here and trickle away. And I mean, they're not hitting all of their shots, but their defense is forcing turnovers. Spotswood themselves just keep making careless mistakes, and the Bulldogs just staying in this one, and it's really impressive for a team that is missing so many key players right now.
Caitlin Connors inbounds, pass inside. Maleg getting shifty with her dribbling skills. Here's a drive, a 2-on-1. Perez, a pass outside, and it's taken. A shot pulled up, no good. The shot back up is no good. Elkers couldn't get it to go. Perez, and they're kind of cycling this offense now. Back up, Elkers, shot again, no good, but they're still getting the rebounds. Clark's rebound and shot is no good. It goes out on Metuchen, and they'll get the ball back. We've seen combos between Elkers and, Perez shot it a little bit. Clark shot the ball a little bit. It's just been a combined effort. I mean, there was like 4 shooters on that offense just now, and they still remain with the ball. Here's Perez, the top scorer for today, and the shot is off the mark. She got fouled, so she'll have 2 shots. If she makes both of these, Eddie, it's a 2-possession game. So how big are these shots here?
These are very big. Only 6:33 to go, but if you're the Bulldogs, I know you don't have Aurelie Germain, who's the centerpiece of the rebound game, but as the first one's going to drop. But, I mean, you can't let Spotswood get 6 chances on 1 possession, and you got to be able to secure a rebound. And if they lose by a couple points, you can look back at this possession. 2 free throws for Perez on a possession where they really shouldn't have scored. 5 misses. Bulldogs couldn't grab a rebound on any of them.
Sloppy defense as of late for the Bulldogs, but looking to turn things around in the last 6.5 minutes. Here's Caitlin Connors. Been the centerpiece of this offense so far. Ironically, she's a freshman. A pass under Pachalski's shot, and it looked like she went up and down there. So it's going to be Spotswood basketball from underneath their own net. Momentum all in their favor right now. Spotswood looking like they're having a little bit of a better fourth quarter. The fourth quarter started off with a missed layup by by Zapp, and since then, Spotswood has just kind of added to their lead a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a tailspin here for the Bulldogs. Need to get something going. They got to block out the paint right here, too.
Wide open drive. Elkers misses her shot while she's fouled, so she'll have 2 more shots. Elkers, so far today, has been pretty productive, and she still has yet to score. I mean, she's a senior. She still has yet to score. She's been very involved, though, in this offense and defensive scheme especially. Here's the chance. First shot is good, and there's her first point of the day.
And a 5-point game right now. This is the biggest lead Spotswood has had in a while. It looks like we're going to have a timeout between the free throws with 6:04 to go. But for the Bulldogs, you need to score off of this possession. Molly Maleg has to get back involved or just working inside. We've seen both Pachalski and Knoll hit inside, even some contested layups as well. Just need points very soon for Metuchen, because all that momentum that they had taken from Spotswood, it seems like it's being sucked back by the Chargers here in these first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. They're looking better on both sides of the ball, but really rebounding is a concern for this team. And this is what my worry is with this team going forwards. There is undeniably a lot of talent and a lot of experience on this roster, along with some young players that are sure to make big impacts as the season goes on. All of that said, it seems like if Aurelie Germain is not out there, which she hasn't been today, this team can't grab many rebounds. And if Molly Maleg is not scoring the ball well, this team can't score collectively. The team had a good group run in the third quarter to get back into this game where a lot of people were producing, but you need that more sustained. And for the Bulldogs right now, they're really living and dying by single players rather than a team effort. And I know right now it's a precarious position. I mean, it kind of feels like, the Brooklyn Nets these last few days when they have had so many players out due to COVID. And the Nets, the Metuchen, is missing 3 players who could very likely be in their starting lineup but are not because they're out. So it's difficult with this unit. You also have many people that are not used to playing with each other on the varsity level, a bunch of new players, but definitely some room for improvement, but still much better than what we saw in the first quarter from Metuchen.
The shot is good, so she knocks it down. It's a 6-point game as she knocked down both free throws. That was Elkers who hit both of them. Gianna Elkers with her first points of the day. Sam Pfeiffer pass out. That's Caitlin Connors who's going to cycle in. Still pretty good defense so far by the Spotswood Chargers. I mean, their defense has been very tight this fourth quarter. Something is fundamentally switched within Spotswood, and it's looked a lot better, both offensively, really, and defensively. They're making those shots that they weren't making at one point in the third and second quarter, and they're holding Caitlin Connors to the outside. Molly Maleg has been silenced a little bit. It's been a lot better and a good cycle so far for Spotswood. Pass outside. It's back up to the top. That's Craig with the basketball. Pass outside and cycling again. That's Perez who's going to pass it back in to the towards the half line. Here's Clark with the ball. First time really on this side of the court. A shot is deflected and no good, so it's Bulldogs ball with 4:58 to go. Just 5 minutes to go. In a game like this, you want to get your points now because at some point you're going to have to intentionally foul, and more often than not, those shots are going to go in. So you want to make sure you can get as many points and make this lead as slim as possible. And there's a foul on Spotswood, which will give Molly Maleg 2 shots. And if you're going to foul somebody, it shouldn't be Molly Maleg. She's so reliable from the stripe. So she's got herself 2 shots to go now with 4:46.
Spotswood 1 foul away from putting Metuchen in the bonus as well, which would be significant. Also 4 fouls on Curdy Craig, who hasn't scored much today but has played a good game, and now they're going to sub her out. But Maleg playing pretty well now. She's up to 8 points. She's picking up the runs a little bit better now, and they just need her to do well. But that was a great job by Maleg to work it into the paint, draw the contact. That's what she does, and to be able to capitalize at the line there with 2 huge points, really key for this team.
Knocks both down. Beautiful shot there by Molly Maleg. She's knocked down both of them. More often than not, those are going in. Really reliable shooter overall is Maleg, and that shot is off the mark. And here come the Bulldogs again. Now they've got a upper-handed chance. That's Caitlin Connors driving, passes in, and that looked like something they could have relaxed a little bit more. They could have probably waited for their entire offensive unit to come up. And just like the Bulldogs, Spotswood looks like they make the same mistake and rush it a little bit. Here comes Gray. She puts it up and in. It's a 2-point game.
What a play by Caitlin Connors. Made the mistake, hustled down the court, got the steal leaping, and then finds Katie Gray for the bucket, making up for the mistake. Exact same play. That time they convert. Now it's just a 2-point game.
And now it's Perez again. Perhaps a little too confident shooting lately. She knocked down her first 2 of the day, but since then she's kind of slowed down a little bit. And now she's missing some shots that she shouldn't be taking overall. She's been in a little bit of a slump shooting the basketball. So I think at this point, she kind of slows things down, passes the ball around, do what they do best, and get it to the point. And, to their best shooters, who like Clark and, Elkers, who's a really good defensive unit, but also a pretty good point guard as well. So we'll see what the Spotswood Chargers can do heading into the last 3.5 minutes. It's 35-33. Metuchen Bulldogs. If you're just joining us, it's been a heck of a game so far. Metuchen down by a basket, and they've been pretty much battling back from a high lead that a high margin since the beginning of the game. They have not had the lead in this game yet. Pachalski passed over to Connor. She's pretty much had the ball more than anyone on the court so far. Pass out. Here's a 3. It's good. Sam Pfeiffer. In just her first few varsity games, she got in a little bit of action last year as a freshman. The sophomore knocks down the 3 that gives the Bulldogs the lead, Eddie.
And a turnover, I think, for Spotswood, too, on a travel. And Gianna Elkers is not happy throwing the ball to the official. But what a shot by Pfeiffer. Her first points of the game. Got space from 3 from the right wing and just buried it. So confident from the young player. And she was able to put it in. And Metuchen down 13 earlier in this game. Down 7-0 a minute into this game. And they now have the lead with 3 minutes to go.
Those are the shots you have to take at this point in the game. Take those risks and just make sure they go in, though. If you're going to take the risk, you should, you should be able to make it. Here's the shot, and it's just shy. A little bit of a scrum down low, and Gray comes up with it, passes it out as she was on the ground. And the call is against Metuchen. It's Spotswood ball. This is a tight game. It's a 1-point game. Girls basketball here from the Metuchen High School. It's 36-35. Spotswood Chargers just trailing after having to lead the entire game. 2.5 minutes to go. Shot is nowhere near. And it's Bulldogs basketball on the drive. It's Caitlin Connors who will inbound it. The lead has been, Spotswood has had the lead at one point, up 14. They were up 14 at one point, and now they're trailing by 1. So the margin, the gaps have been unbelievable. And now for Metuchen to be able to battle back, if they're able to close out with a win today, which I know is a lot of time, but if they are able to close out with a win today, it'll be an awesome start to their season. Pass down low. That's Katie Gray. Swatted away, and it looked like a pass as it went right to Connors. The shot by Pachalski is off the mark. Little too strong. And it's going to be Metuchen basketball.
Katie Gray has been really key down the stretch. She had a nice basket inside on a pass from Connors a couple minutes ago. They're forcing the jump ball there, grabbing a hand on that ball from Clark. Really nice job there by Gray.
We've seen lack of play for Sarah Knoll. She's been on the bench for a little while now, and that's Molly Maleg, who's fouled as she shot it. Definitely don't want to send her to the line, as I mentioned earlier. She's one of the most reliable shooters, both from the line, from the point, really from wherever. So you do not, especially this late in the game, want to send Molly Maleg to the line, because more often than not, she'll hit those extra points. Here's the chance, 2:12 to go. First shot is up and good. Banks it in. It's a 2-point game. These are some security points you want to get to be up by a comfortable enough a margin, but it's definitely not comfortable, especially in basketball. 2 minutes and 12 seconds is a lot of clock to go, so you want to make as many shots as you can. And she hit both of them. After missing both foul shots earlier, she has not looked back, hitting every single one since then. Molly Maleg has been an unstoppable force from the line and really everywhere else. Maleg today.
13 points for her. She's 10 in the second half. She's been hitting from the line. Metuchen hitting their free throws. Those are so significant at the end of the game.
Here's the chance, and it's laid in. Reliable shot. That was Clark who laid it in off the backboard, 38-37. Now you see why Molly Maleg and others of free throws have been so crucial. It's a 1-point game. Had she missed one of those, it would be a tie game. So it's really an intense moment in this game. You really have to focus on making your shots, playing sound defense, and ending up winning this game. Here comes Caitlin Connors with the ball. She's going to dribble towards the back. They haven't really been able to stop her defensively. She's been having the ball a lot, starting really the entire Metuchen offense on each and every drive. Maleg's going to get the ball a little bit closed up. Pass over to Pachalski. That's been her hot corner so far, but she missed the shot. Pachalski on the layup is no good, and now Spotswood's going to get the ball. Just 1:18 to go, Eddie.
It is getting tight, and we have a timeout here. Each team had 2 left. Didn't see who signaled 4. I think Spotswood called timeout with 1:18 to go. A 1-point game. And now it's interesting to see what Coach Veazey and Coach Glutz do in the huddle. Coach Glutz, this team has been in a lot of close games. They had plenty of them last season, but these are all new players out there. Connors in her first ever game. Pfeiffer and Gray have only appeared in, I think, 2 apiece at the varsity level. So you need the key leaders. There are reasons why Molly Maleg and Carly Pachalski were named captains. You know they're going to be on the floor for the stretch run. They need to be able to lead this team defensively and set up a play on offense. Caitlin Connors, not much experience, but she has been so good in this game so far. As for Spotswood, Allison Clark has started to figure things out. She's got 11 points. My question is, where is Gianna Perez? Because they haven't had her have many touches here in the fourth quarter. She had 14 points. She had 9 in the first quarter and has been pretty silent since. And it's not really that she's started missing shots. It's that they're not allowing her to get shots off. So Spotswood has to draw up a play to get either Clark or Perez open. Those are your 2 best shooters. They're both seniors. Got to look towards them for Metuchen, play lockdown defense, and Molly Maleg. She's top 10 all-time in scoring. She's up in double figures now. She's got the hot hand. Got to let the senior do her job here late in the game.
Inbounded, that's Craig back in, and she'll pass it in back to Craig. Here's the pass over to the outside. Cycling around back to Craig. The pass outside. The shot is up, and it's good. The shot is good. And
Kalegi there, what a shot for her. Way beyond the three-point arc, and now Metuchen playing from behind. Desperately need a basket here.
And it looked like Coach Klutz was signaling for a timeout much prior to when they called it. So maybe they'll set the timer back up, but the refs just didn't see it. So there's 52.8 seconds to go. But I mean, a few seconds where the refs missed that timeout call is actually a lot of time in basketball terms. Could just be one more shot or two more shots even. Metuchen ball down by 2. What a huge shot that was by Lizzie Calariggio. And now they're down. They're back down. Metuchen's back down, and Spotswood has the lead for the first time in a few minutes.
Yeah, Lizzie Calariggio there, unfazed. We talked about Connors as a freshman. This is also a true freshman. First game, and just so confident to take that shot. She had missed a couple earlier in the quarter and just buries it. And that could end up, you never know, being the dagger, but doesn't look like they're adding any extra time. I thought, I mean, our computer kind of died on battery, so we can't see a replay exactly. But I thought I saw Coach Klutz signaling as early as about 56 seconds, and you might say 3 seconds isn't much of a difference. But like we were saying, in basketball, that can matter a lot. 3 seconds is a big difference. We both follow Rutgers basketball. We all know what Ron Harper Jr. did with 3 seconds on the clock against Purdue. So you never know. But Metuchen with the ball in a 2-point game off this inbound. Got to try to score here. Don't want to be trying to send Spotswood to the free throw line and making this really desperate.
Metuchen inbounding, throw, risky throw, hook shot. Wow, what a shot. That was my leg, but she missed it. And now there's a foul, and that's on Metuchen. So it's going to be Spotswood ball from down under. Craig, who's going to inbound it.
Metuchen still has to foul more. Only 4 team fouls here before they get to the line, so it's going to be a lot of hacking here probably, or at least trying to trap the Chargers.
Here comes Spotswood. 42 seconds to go. The pass outside. That's Lizzie Calariggio. And she is stopped. It's a foul, and it's going to be Spotswood basketball from the side. Now, Spotswood, you know, they have 36.5 seconds to go. Are you going aggressive to go get that, 2-possession lead, or are you going to play conservative?
No, let them foul you. Let them foul you and send you to the line. No need to risk any sort of turnover. Out of our camera shot, I think that was another foul because Metuchen now at 6. Is that a free throw? No, it's not. They still got to foul one more time. Next foul will send the Chargers to the line, but let them foul you. Got to get to the free throw line. Have confidence in your shooters.
Inbounded, and it's kind of hard to pick up what's going on, I know, but it's going to go the other way. Metuchen's ball. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but
probably went for the foul and kind of got tipped around. Probably the ball handler lost control, and now Metuchen has the ball with 32 seconds.
32 seconds to go. They're down by 2. Metuchen's basketball. Sam Pfeiffer dribbling along the outside. Here she comes. Outside dribbling. She looks for Pachalski, and she's unable to connect. Elkers has the ball. She's going to be sent to the line after they foul her.
Actually, no. That was a jump ball, I think. Referee standing there. I don't know. They'll probably discuss it. I think it was a jump ball with 17 seconds, but I didn't really like that setup from the beginning. Pfeiffer hasn't really done much of the ball handling and the facilitating today. I would have let Caitlin Connors or Maleg set up the play. Pfeiffer kind of got trapped in the corner, made a bit of a desperate pass. Pachalski wasn't expecting it. And that could be the turning point in the game here with a 2-point game. Obviously, Spotswood has been very sloppy and could also miss a free throw, but a 2-point game with 17 seconds left for a Metuchen team that hasn't been all that consistently good from the field today makes a difference. But you see the 2 officials discussing them things because that could have been a foul. That could have also been a jump ball. It looked like Katie Gray kind of made contact with whoever stole the ball before she got the hands on it and grasped it to try to force a jump ball. No, regardless, it's Spotswood possession, and I think we'll see where the official's setting up He's going to stay back there. So it's going to be a jump ball, so it's going to be an inbound for Spotswood. I think the possession arrow now should be Metuchen's way, but Spotswood possession, unless they called that a travel on Metuchen, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that it could have gone with that play, but it's going to be Spotswood ball nonetheless. Metuchen has to foul here with 17 seconds to send them to the line.
A game this late, you got to think about who you're willing to foul, who you're willing to send to the line that may miss their shots. So, I mean, Spotswood has shown they have pretty consistent shooters, especially from the line, and it looks like they elect to foul. They'll foul Elkers, who's going to be sent to the line. So now they have 2 shots. It's Elkers who has the chance to make this a 2-possession basketball game. She also has the potential to keep it at 2 and also could make it a 3-point game, which would probably rely on one last 3-pointer chance. The odds are right now in favor of Spotswood, and they could be pretty much closed. The game could pretty much be closed now if she hits both free throws here. So from the line, here's Gianna Elkers.
Metuchen still has a timeout. It's a 1-and-1, and they missed the first.
So she misses the first, which will allow no more shots. Dribbling along the outside, that's Calarugio, who's fouled, and she'll be sent to the line with 5.6. The freshman with the chance to potentially put the dagger in the Metuchen Bulldogs. 5.6 to go.
That's frustrating for the Bulldogs. Rebounding has been a serious issue in this game, and also the clock. It took them 6 seconds to foul there, 6 earlier, plus the time from the timeout signal. Metuchen's missed out on a lot of time.
Here's the shot, and she bundles it. So now she is 1 shot away from sealing the deal. So Spotswood could essentially win the game unofficially right now. Metuchen, if this is a missed shot, has to get their shooters up there and make the shot. And this one is nailed, and Spotswood is up 5 with very low amount of time, 3.8. The clock is stopped. Timeout by Coach Glutz. Metuchen on offense now, down by 2 possessions this late in the game. It's not going to be an easy thing to win this game, Eddie.
Yeah, 4-point game. What they need, because there's, once again, time management here from this team in the last minute has not been great. The timeout is one thing, but it took them 6 seconds to foul when there were 17 seconds left. It seemed like Caitlin Connors, I know she's very inexperienced, was afraid to do the intentional foul. You don't have to body the person. Just go around, give them a little hug. You'll get the call then. And then unable to get the rebound on the miss with 11 seconds, and it was able to get cleared out by Allison Clark, who did an amazing tip there for Spotswood. And they were able to dribble it out and get 6 more seconds. So all you can really do right now with 3.8 seconds, not enough time for a basket, a foul, and another basket. You got to try for a 3, but hope you can draw contact and get to the line and a chance at a 4-point play. That's the only chance left for Metuchen. So you got to get it really to Molly Maleg. Hope she gets hit as she shoots, but if you're Spotswood, give up the 3. Stay back on defense. Don't lean into the player as a defender, because you know they're going to call that foul in any way they can. So honestly, if you're Spotswood, just go back down by the basket. Let Metuchen get a shot off.
Inbounded. Caitlin Connors is going to chuck it up. No good, the shot. Gray gets it off, not in time, and that'll do it. The Spotswood Chargers go on the road and beat the Metuchen Bulldogs on their own home court. What a game that was from many aspects. I mean, Molly Maleg really did not fail to impress. The first quarter, she was scoreless. She didn't get anything. She missed 2 foul shots by that point. She came back in the second quarter, splashed the 3-point, went back into the second half and had a heck of a game, making all of her foul shots afterwards. I mean, and, playing some good defense. They just fell short. Molly Maleg had a good game. Sam Pfeiffer with a key 3-pointer. You had Carly Pachalski, pretty reliable from down low. Caitlin Connors, though, I want to talk a little bit about her. She looked like one of the best players on the team. I mean, and that's so impressive for a freshman. I mean, a freshman that's starting in a varsity game, not being able to play in any JV games. She's starting as a freshman, and that's just so impressive. And to be able to perform at a level that she did, she barely got subbed out. It was a really professional performance for Caitlin Connors.
Yeah, and she only had 4 points. I think the shots will come. What's interesting with her is that I feel like even though she's one of the shorter players on the court, of course height matters a lot in basketball. I think her being shorter actually helps her. We saw her be very elusive on the baseline, driving in, sneak out some passes, also on some steals, kind of sneak up from behind. I think that's a trait that could really, a little underestimated, but I think could really be of value to her. But looking at this team, I mean, only a 4-point game in the end. It was a good comeback from the Bulldogs. This game, they were down 13. They were really getting blown away, it seemed like, in the second quarter. Molly Maleg hit a big three to end the first half. And then things were going back in their way. Of course, Pfeiffer with that huge three-pointer, like you mentioned. But honestly, I think you have to be happy with the way it turned out. Only a 4-point game. Yes, it's a loss, but the fact that you played against one of the teams that are probably going to be competing for a GMC Blue Division crown so well, with no Arlie Germain, no Charlotte Breen, no Cassidy Connors. Ideally, all three of those players will be back at some point this season, maybe some sooner than later, but if you can have them back, then this is probably a game you could have won. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow to see it slip away so late in this game. And that Calendrugio 3, we're talking about Connors as a freshman, Ike, but that was sensational. The confidence to fire away from deep with a minute to go and give her team the lead and end up hitting the game-winning shot in her first career high school game. So got to give credit where credit is due. But for Metuchen, I think this team has a lot to be happy about going forwards. Definitely some adjustments to be made, but my last point is this. This is game one for a team that was going with a 7-player rotation. 4 of them are new. 1's a freshman, 3 are from the JV team. So there's going to be some moving pieces that have to come together. Once these players are more in sync in January, I think this is going to be a much more successful team. And I think once Molly Malek finds her shot for all 4 quarters in a game, we'll see this team really firing away and scoring a lot of points.
So that's it from the Metuchen High School. Final score, Spotswood 42, Metuchen Bulldogs 38. Did not fail to disappoint on the home opener and the opener, but the Bulldogs just come up short. They're going to hope to respond well in their next game. So the Metuchen Bulldogs just come up short, but in Spotswood right now, the men's basketball team is taking on Spotswood as well. So make sure to tune into that game. That's a 7 o'clock start. It's been well underway now. So that's it. Ike Busch and Eddie Kalegi signing off from the Metuchen High School.